Hello. Just to recap, my name's Kiana. I had a microdiscectomy on yesterday, and the L5-S1 disc. Been pretty much my story. I've had sciatica for 4 years. Didn't know that it was a herniated disc. And then when I got pregnant with my son 4 years ago, he was pressing on a nerve. But just before then, I work as at that time a cook and now chef, and just been was lifting heavy boxes, constant standing. So my back kind of went out at that point, and the doctors just prescribed me meds and said take it easy. So when I had my son, he was pressing on a nerve, and that's when the sciatica really started. Ever since then, about maybe once or twice a year, I would have an episode where my back would go out. I would kind of be in the bed, not able to really walk for about a week, and then I would wake up just like it never happened. So that went on. So this time, 6 months ago in August, my back went out, and I thought that, the same thing was going to happen. It was going to, I would be in the bed for a week and then kind of would just recover. And I ended up in the bed for 3 weeks, not being able to walk. So in the midst of that, I went to the doctors. They did x-rays and said, okay, we see a little something here. They sent me to an orthopedic surgeon. So she said, we'll see a little something here. Let's get an MRI. MRI showed that the bone was pressing on the nerve. So that's when I started physical therapy. Did physical therapy for 5 months, 3 weeks, and nothing. It just was not improving. It actually was getting worse. I would feel good for about a half an hour up to an hour after physical therapy, and then just right back. And it was just deteriorating. My health was deteriorating. My quality of life was deteriorating. I have children. Couldn't pick them up. Couldn't play with them. Just constantly in the bed. Just always in pain. For 6 months straight, I had sciatica pain. And it was just getting more and more excruciating as time went on. So obviously my personality started to change. Just agitated and not really feeling, like I wanted to be bothered. And so I did the injections. I did 2 injections I did one Toradol shot. Felt great for about 6 or 7 hours. And I was like, yes. And they told me it's temporary, so it will wear off. But I was in so much agonizing pain that the doctor just kind of felt bad. This was my primary doctor, and she said, let me just give you some kind of relief, even if it's just for a while. And then that's when I started physical therapy after that. But I got the cortisone injections, and that, the first one I felt really good for about 2 weeks, and then it just wore off. Everything, all of the pain came back, the limitations came back. So I got the second one, and I got significantly worse after the second. And I said, okay. So she said, okay, I think that there's more going on than just the bone. This was prior to them getting an MRI. She said, let's get an MRI. And then when the MRI came back, she referred me to a neurosurgeon. Went to the neurosurgeon. And he said, yeah, the bone is pressing on a nerve. Went through everything with me. He said, you've kind of done everything. You've done pain meds. You've done shots. You've done physical therapy for a significant amount of time with no improvement. So let's consider surgery. But it wasn't pressing. That was in November. I said, let me think about it. Let me pray about it and see, which direction to take. He said, you can wait a little while, see if, maybe therapy gets better. At that time, I started to experience a little bit of numbness in my foot and my leg, like the lower part of my leg into my foot. But it wasn't really numbness. It just was like pins and needles, like my foot was falling asleep. So I said, okay, let me think about it. So I continued with physical therapy. What I did notice at physical therapy, after I would do 2 of the stretches, the sciatica would get worse. So I told them that, and they made an adjustment, and the numbness slowed down a little bit. The tingling in my leg and foot, it did slow down. So I'm not sure if that was because of the stretches that I was doing, but it just still wouldn't get better. So I called. I went to a follow-up appointment in December, and I said, okay. I said, I think that it's time. I'm going to go ahead and do the surgery. Actually, that was January, the very beginning of January, like January 4th. I said, I'm going to do the surgery. In the meantime, I got a second MRI because of the fact that my health was deteriorating. They said, okay, maybe something has changed since September when you got the first MRI. So got the second MRI, and it did change. The bone was pressing on the nerve more, but it still didn't look as bad as I was feeling. And I kept saying, I know it's just slightly touching the nerve, but I feel horrible. And I'm not a hypochondriac. I started to feel like, am I over exaggerating this? Is this in my head? But it just, I don't know. It was terrible. And the pain would just be debilitating. Thank God I had a job that was sensitive and compassionate enough. The days that I just said I can't come in, they would let me work from home. And then the days where I was just needed to be asleep all day, they were really sensitive. So shout out to my boss for that, just for, being compassionate enough. So I told them yes for the surgery. So they scheduled me about 3 weeks later. That next week, the pain was just unbearable. I don't know what happened because I wasn't doing anything extra because I just literally couldn't. Really wasn't driving like that. Was working from home most days. It just got so bad. I was out of work for a whole week. And I called the doctor and I said, I don't know what happened, but something is just, I don't know. I feel terrible. So they gave me Neurontin, which is a nerve medication, and that was a wonder drug. And I'm not one to, I take over-the-counter medicine and stuff like that, and I take my prescribed medicine, but I'm kind of that person that will take it until I don't need it anymore. I didn't really, for instance, I have GERD, so I have acid reflux really bad. That I do take every day because I have to. But then when they would give me like the naproxen, I would take it as needed because I don't like taking pain medicine daily or just scared of all of, the getting hooked, needing it, wanting it more than needing it. So I just didn't even want to go through any experiences like that. Sidebar, because I watched this show called Dope on Netflix. And one guy was a heroin addict, and it started from back pain. He fell at work, had some back pain, and eventually insurance said, okay, we're not giving you any more Percocets and Vicodin and everything that he had advanced to. And he started buying illegal prescription drugs. That stopped working, and then he was hooked on heroin. Though, with my lifestyle, maybe a little far-fetched, but still, you never know. So I'm that person that I don't want to get hooked on prescription drugs. So, and I'm sure that people are watching this because you have some kind of back pain. So I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. That pain is so excruciating that you get to a point where you just want relief. So anyway, so back to the Neurontin. The Neurontin was amazing. I had it for a week, about 2.5 days in. When I tell you the sciatica pain completely went away. I felt like I felt before the sciatica and the herniated disc even happened. And I was like, this is great. Like I can, walk, distance. I can stand longer than 10 minutes. I was able to do laundry, and I'm sure of any of you that experienced this situation. Unfortunately, my husband went out of town, but I felt like I could have sex. So that's how good I felt. But that's a temporary medication. That's not something that they want you on long term. But so that got me through to the surgery. So by the time the surgery happened, they were like, "What's your pain?" From 1 to 10, and I was like 2, 3. Like I really didn't have much pain. But the day before the surgery, I had to stop taking that. And the thing about that is you have to take it. If you don't take it, you feel this pain starting to come back. So that's kind of why I was at like a 2 or 3 by that time. But after the surgery, you cannot take it because they need to see if you're having sciatica pain, the extent of it, and how bad it is. So I'm not on that. So day after surgery, this is day 1 after surgery, and I feel the site where they cut is burning pretty bad. It's really sore, but that was to be expected. Yesterday I did have some sciatica pain that was shooting all the way down to my foot. That also was to be expected. They said it takes time because my nerve has been pressed for 4 years. So now my nerve has to rejuvenate. It has to, recuperate from the compression for all of this time. But so that was yesterday really bad. I took a Percocet, kind of felt a little loopy, went to sleep. But today I woke up, the sciatica pain is not that bad. It's no longer in my foot. It's only like in my butt area. So I don't feel too bad. I'm really glad that I did do the surgery. And I am hoping that it just will get better from day to day. So thanks for watching, and I'll update you in about a week.